Recently, 90210 was added to Prime Video after not being on any streaming service for a while, so I began to rewatch it. I really love this show, but I forgot how annoying it gets at the end of Season 1 and a big chunk of Season 2. It's prom night, and the celebration is continuing with an after-party at Naomi's house. Naomi is head over heels for Liam, but catches Liam sleeping with someone at the party. Because Naomi sees Annie's scarf in the room, she believes it was Annie who slept with Liam. She goes and starts accusing Annie, and although Annie denies it, Naomi isn't believing her. A breaking point for Annie is when someone at the party throws a drink on her because they think she's a snitch since her dad is the principal. Annie ends up leaving the party and takes a bottle with her, but also calls the cops to report the party. Before the episode ends, we see Annie was driving around all night while drinking, and when the sun comes up, she's still on the road but ends up running someone over. This is how Season 1 ends. When Season 2 begins, we see that because Annie called the cops on the party, everybody that was at this party got summer school. People are aware it was Annie who called the cops, so now they hate her. But Naomi is still going on about Annie sleeping with Liam. Back home, we see Annie and Dixon aren't getting along either because Dixon also thinks Annie slept with Liam. All this leads to Annie becoming an outcast, she loses her friends, and nobody at school even likes her. Annie ends up befriending another outcast from school, and they eventually start dating. This person is named Jasper, and is arguably the worst character from the entire season. This entire storyline was so tiring. Annie begins going through such a horrible time, all because Naomi didn't believe her, and Liam was scared to admit who he actually slept with. Not only did Annie lose all her friends, but Naomi actually shares with the whole school an explicit photo of Annie. Liam's excuse to not tell the truth was so dumb because he was supposedly such an honorable man who hated playing games, but when he sees Annie having a bad time, he doesn't say the truth to help her out. This whole situation made me miss Ethan because he would have been the only one to believe Annie was saying the truth, but unfortunately, he was long gone. Annie's relationship with Jasper was so lame and frustrating, especially when Jasper began to blackmail her into staying together. Everyone else also acted so out of character. Naomi was pissed at Annie, but I never thought she would actually expose a photo of Annie being naked. Dixon was out of character for not believing Annie, because what brother wouldn't believe their sister, especially after months of Annie sticking with the same story? Annie's parents also acted out of character. They never spoke with her even when they saw she was going through a tough time. The only good thing about all this was it made Jen become an even greater villain. Jen was the best villain from the entire show, and her sleeping with Naomi's boyfriends while they were underaged really showed how evil she truly is. Some people might say Annie deserved this because she ran someone over and didn't stop to check on the person, but Annie did not deserve the pain she went through. The only reason Annie was even driving while drunk is because Naomi was accusing her of something horrible. By this point of the show, Annie and Naomi were already good friends, so why couldn't Naomi just believe Annie? If they wanted to run with this plot, then they should have done it for a few episodes and not dragged it for so long. Although this storyline was frustrating, don't let it stop you from watching the show. All the other stories happening during this time are entertaining, and the rest of the show is great. I just wanted to make a video about how frustrating this specific storyline is.